Good morning, everybody. As we always do on Friday, we have a special guest, and this is a really special one for me because our guest today, his name's Jason Perrone. Jason, say hi.
Good morning,
Yeah.
everybody. Thanks so much for
So,
having me.
Jason and I have been friends for, my God, dude, are we like, we're
More,
definitely
more,
2 decades
yeah,
at
more than
least.
that. I was,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
got to be two and a half, maybe
yeah,
20,
easy.
20, 26, 27 years. I mean, college era.
Yep.
Um, and the goal for me is always to bring people to the call who just inspire me, fire me up, get me excited about life, get me excited about things. Jason's got an amazing story to tell around his career, his personal journey through leadership, personal development. He's got a ton of stuff that I think we're going to get a lot of value out of. So, Jay, welcome.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Good morning, everybody.
By the way, I'm glad. Is that the, where are you? Like, you look a little bit in.
Yeah, well, I'm in one of the buildings.
Yeah.
We've got a campus here in Plainville of
Yep.
three buildings that represent the three different companies, and we're in the network interiors, which is the labor one.
So talk to us. Yeah,
Yeah.
start out like let's start with what do you do, man? What's your day to
Oh
day?
man,
Like, what do
I
you
don't know. I've been trying to figure. I'm that guy that when you got the, I'm not sure what that guy does. And it's in a nutshell, I build stuff. We're commercial builders. That's what
Yeah.
we are. So
Yeah.
we get to do some really fun things. Pretty rewarding life when you think about it, because we get to be a part of projects and see things created. I've been loving watching you in your house out on the lake, Matt, because I could see the excitement you get out of that. We get to do that every day. Comes with a whole slew of challenges. So you're dealing with that on a project. That happens every day on every project. It's a lot, but it's also an incredibly rewarding career, from a design perspective, from an architectural perspective, from a constructability perspective. You meet incredible people. It's
Yeah, because you kind
very,
of live. My observation is that you kind of live at the intersection of sales, marketing, and construction, which is like you're not. I mean, you've never shown up anywhere with a tool belt on, but you're
yeah.
always talking about construction. Like that's the world that you live in, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think it's where I'm at, right, in the career. So I was in the, early on. I'm 51 now. I think I'm 51. Might be 52.
good
And you lose
double
track
check.
after a
Somebody
while.
get the
So
birth certificate.
yeah, so where you're at in your life, I came through the ranks, so that's why I know it real well. I came all hands on deck kind of thing. When you're working on one job and you're calling your brother and you're saying, where are you? I'll come help you finish up. So yeah, I think that's you don't always get to do that in career, especially this day and age. People have to chase money right now, I notice. I think there was a moment a couple of years back where people were quality of life is important. It always should be top priority, especially with some of the stuff I've gone through, and I'm sure a million people have gone through on the call here. But nowadays, with the cost of living, people are, they're doing things that pay the bills a little bit more. But the most successful folks that you can turn to that just have insight on every aspect of the company they might be a part of, the ones that kind of came through the ranks and touched every aspect of that. I think of, from the loading docks to going into the field to then being a crew leader to then, telling the story of that from a sales or marketing perspective and then helping the strategy and the direction of an organization. It
Yeah,
does,
that is like
people
one of the
bounce around more now.
it's one of the key elements, right? Is like that wisdom comes not wisdom and intelligence are two separate things. And you can earn intellect by taking classes, reading books, listening to
Yeah.
smart people, but you can't earn wisdom without doing. And like wisdom comes from the scars or the challenges, and that's why old people are wise. And you never like that's because that you have to
Yeah,
actually live it, right? So
re respect those years, yeah, and gobble up some of that information and be willing to share it when you're at a point where you might have a little knowledge. Be willing to share. Anytime you can connect, my whole success has been engagement, from day one, even as a young person, getting people engaged, getting engaged and being willing to kind of be curious. stay curious, you know.
I think like one of the things that I've always had a ton of respect for is you seem to know everybody. Like you are maybe the ultimate networker. Like there's not a room that you go in where you don't meet a bunch of people, know a bunch of people, and have talk. This is a group of like high performing salespeople,
Yeah, you
you
guys
know, the
are.
best in the industry, right? Who many of us network as a pastime. But I look at you as
Wow.
like a person who networks as a profession. Like you,
Yeah,
there is
that's
never
accurate.
like that is how I like when I think of Jason, I think of he knows somebody who knows somebody that can help me solve a problem. And I think that like that's where I think again that intersection of like construction, sales, it's fascinating because there's never been a time when we've had a conversation where you even said, "Hey, do you know this guy?" Like every time we talk, you're making a connection.
Yeah.
When did that
Actually,
start for you?
I
When did
looked
that
over my
start for you?
shoulder. I forgot to show you what we made here. Put me
Oh, dude, look at that. How about it?
Yeah.
Love it.
I've been drawing that for the kids my whole life, like on their napkins before school, but now I don't get to do it anymore, so I'll do it for you guys. Yeah.
We love it, dude.
Um,
Happy Friday.
Happy
Nice.
Friday.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you have to talk. That's the one thing that, you think about like young talent coming up on in any industry. You need people. People do people are the pulse. That's what it is in any industry. I know AI is doing wonderful things in some organizations. It's helping me actually personally. I'm an industry that's a little bit more bulletproof against it, hands-on building things. But you have to connect with people. You have to be memorable. You have to be different. You have to be engaging. And believe it or not, you hit it. I'm at a point where I'm the guy. That is what I do. I network. I get engaged. I go to events. I speak at events. I attend events. I gobble up information. I share information. But you have to be out and about, and it's so easy to not be out and about. And I think I'm looked at as a guy who's comfortable going in any room, and that's not like an ego thing. I hear it from people, and I try to tell people I'm actually an introvert or a blend of the two of them. Introverts or extroverts, it's like I think I'm an introvert that has trained myself over years for years. I'll give you a story. So I was probably in my early 20s, and we were growing. My father's company was growing, and then we merged with this big commercial interiors contract furniture company. And he said, "Hey, John, you're now running the crew, my brother, and you get to go over to that building every day and meet all those people." And ooh, it was a big pivot point for me in my life. I met a great guy, Dennis and Sonia, who was a mentor. Unfortunately, he passed away pretty young. He was a great guy, and he said, "You get these 5 minutes a day," and they had these multiple offices, and I would bounce around every week. I'd hit about two of them, and I'd go in front of a group, and here I am, a guy who's this 20 something year old kid that's going to tell them something they need to know. And these are these seasoned salespeople, very seasoned, best in the country salespeople that are making a fortune. The business was really healthy back then, and they were basically order takers, and they were just getting these. And we're going to tell them, "Hey, you have this new service, and we're going to introduce electrical and audio visual and all these new things, and you've got to introduce them to your clients. Get the hell out of here. How are you going?" So it was very nerve wracking for me. One, I hadn't done it. Two, you're talking to people who have more experience than you. So how do you add value? How do you become memorable and add value and make friends with them? People do business with people they like and they feel comfortable. So I had to build trust. I had to know what I was talking about. I had to be engaging. And I'll tell you, I remember not sleeping before those. I had one in Stanford on Thursdays, and I literally would be up the whole night. That was a tough group down there, and I would stay up kind of preparing and getting ready. I learned simple things like, I'm dating myself again, but iced coffee had just come out from Dunkin' Donuts, and I had that iced coffee, and I realized I couldn't talk as well because my mouth was full of ice before I was speaking. So hey, let's get back to drinking warm coffee before I went up in front of the group. But yeah, you practice and you become better at it, and until it feels a little more natural. If you're not nervous, it means it's not important. So to this day and age, I actually thought about this presentation. I'm like, one, Matt means a ton to me. I want to make sure I'm adding some value to a group of people who've got tons of things to do, and they're logging in on a Friday, 8:30 a.m. Like, this is wonderful. I want to make sure I'm adding value to your lives. So, yeah, I think it still matters to me, what I'm putting out there in the
Dude, you
world.
you are you nailed a couple of things that I again, these are things that I know you, so I have a ton of respect for. You talked about preparation. I
Yep.
loved what you just said. If you're not nervous, it's not meaningful. That is such a beautiful way to think about anxiety and stress and like if you're like for some of us, we sit every day inside of our own head cycle about things we know we should be doing, right? And in real estate, a lot of that comes down to prospecting. Or maybe it's an uncomfortable conversation you got to have with a client, like, I've got to I know I have a call that I have to have tomorrow with a customer, and we are not on the same page about what we should be listing his house for at all. We are apart by hundreds of thousands of
Yes.
dollars, right? And so I have
Yes.
anxiety about that conversation, right? Because I know it's
Yeah.
just gonna be uncomfortable, right? So there's every day for a professional in any kind of a sales or service job, you're always going to have those moments where there's like, okay, I have anxiety because it's meaningful, because I
Yes.
want it to go well, and
Yes.
so I love how you just said that. That's really, really powerful. And then the way you handle that is through preparation,
Right.
making sure that you understand what you're trying to deliver.
Right.
Well, as a young guy, I mean, again, you've been in the industry now, like what, 2 decades, 3 decades, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
more. I mean,
Okay.
my whole life. Yeah, I've been in commercial
So
real estate,
now
like
you
out
run.
there in
I mean,
space for 30
the
plus years.
the company that you're at and the role that you have, and forgive me if is like director of sales and strategy or business development, like, at a massive construction company doing projects all over. How do you manage all of that at the same time? Like, you're still out, you're generating new business, you've got a handful of clients. By the way, I'm going to guess that your projects are multiples in the millions, not generally, oh, it's a $20,000 gig. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair. We're not, there's much larger organizations. So you were starting to hop on something that, when you talk about it matters. Every client we engage with matters. Our how we're perceived in the industry, how we're talked about. I take pride in that. You guys are going to learn a little bit about what I'm doing today, and we cross paths on projects that maybe we don't win. We cross paths with subcontractors that are on our teams, and that any given moment at any table, if our name comes up, we're going to be spoken well of. That's important to me. Um, we're going to be spoken well of how we won and executed a project, how we handled pitfalls on a project, how we reacted to problems. That's important. Our name recognition is everything, and we all work hard on that. Um, I tell a quick story. I'm going to derail myself because I work in a lot of different areas here, but I told this story the other day, and I can't remember the client, but I do remember the client. He's not worth mentioning, but we had a great opportunity, and it kept getting whittled down, the amount of things that we were going to provide for this client, but kept giving that energy, and it became a pretty small project, but important project. And at the end of it, that owner came and said, "Boy, there is a lot of value to doing work with you guys. You guys give a lot. There is a great partnership with you." And I thought, wow, so maybe I didn't get the lion's share of that project. I did get a portion of it, but I have a champion for us. I have somebody who's can get on a pulpit and speak well of us out there, and who's well connected. And that goes back to the networking. You don't know who everyone else knows, and it's okay to ask that. So now I know I have a champion, and that was worth it to me. And then it made me realize that, boy, we better be adding value in every single project we do, from the inception to the completion, from how we respond to those first phone calls, to how we get engaged, how we provide pricing, to what takes place on the project, to how we close it out afterwards, to how available we are after we install a project. We're not just checking out. We want long-term clients. Take a lot of pride. It used to be in some marketing piece that was, we don't really lose clients. We grow with them. We shrink with them. Space changes. We went through some period of time a few years back that People weren't in buildings, they weren't in schools, we weren't building offices. And I joke because you and I have a lot of friends with restaurants, and they were a lot of woe is me, and everyone was taking care of the friends with restaurants. And I said, hey, nobody's building space either. Like, help us out,
How come nobody's
But
helping construction
yeah,
people
like
out?
maybe throw something our way. But it's so that's important to me is how people are going to speak of you when you're not in the room. And if that becomes your sales tool, that if our name comes up as a consideration on a project, the engineer, the architect, the property management group, the developer, they might know of us and they might say, yeah, that's a good choice.
Hmm.
And that just takes energy. That takes what you mentioned earlier, getting out, going to events, going to networking events. There's the traditional routes that everybody knows, the Chamber of Commerce, but I would say pick some things that aren't so predictable.
Hmm.
And when you get a little more confident in it, we spend a huge amount of effort, one, because I enjoy it, creating unique experiences for clients. I think we're kind of known for that.
Yeah.
And creating the hub, create the hub for yourself, be the hub. So be a hub of knowledge, um, be a hub of connection. So you want to connect with people, create destinations for people. You guys have a great room over in Newington that you can do, and you do events there. By the way, I don't want if anyone's in that room dialing in right now. I'm looking up at the camera now. I don't want to see it. Matt didn't let me build that.
No, I did
He went and
not. I did
stole he
not
went and
let him build
stole
it. I
cafe
tried,
tables from some elementary school, whatever. But it's
that is true. They did come from an elementary school.
yeah, my elementary school, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah, so
maybe yours. Yeah,
my
right.
kids are sitting on the floor, but
I just want to address two things. One, when you talk about creating unique experiences, there's a couple things that I want to draw out of you, and I want you to talk to me about.
yeah,
Because I have been on the receiving end of what you're describing, and it is incredibly impactful.
yeah,
Um, you're you're fundamentally, again, in your background, you have an incredibly creative mind.
yeah.
And yet you're in a business that we often talk about this all the time in our industry, that like you can't build a business on creativity. You have to build a business on systems and models, and then you can add creativity. And like just your Happy Friday little thing in the background is a perfect example of that. Like I know that when I've been to meetings with you and your colleagues, like we walk in and there is an experience. Like there's a
Mhm.
deliverable experience that is totally different than what other people provide. How have you brought that to what could otherwise be looked at as, call it a relatively straightforward type of a process, right? Like people
Wow.
in the construction industry, right? They're measuring price per square foot. It's
Mhm.
listen, sheetrock, screws are screws. Like there's a who's giving me the best price, and yet you've always managed to say, right, and there's a way that this experience is going to change how you make a decision. Talk to me about that process for you. Do you
Yeah,
customize? How do you do that?
that's a lot. Yeah, so I'm the creative, I am known as the creative. So I have a fine art background, trying to talk to your team here. I studied some architecture in school, and I was an artist from day one when I grew up. And I did go I went to UConn. I went to fine arts at UConn, taking unique courses when I was there as well, like, some things in business and some things in writing, creative writing, but fine arts, painting, printmaking. When that was going on, our company was growing. So I actually didn't get the best experience from college because I was so enthusiastic about our family business at the time growing so much. I was leaving on weekends. I was recruiting kids from school to come work on the cruise with us. And so actually, I tell my Bella is at UConn right now, and I say, hey, this school has a lot to offer. We were doing work at the school at that time. Make sure you're taking advantage of these universities and what they have to offer. I kind of missed on that because I was so into our organization growing. So that creativity standpoint, in my past life as a contract interiors company that had a heavy design aspect to it, that ties right in, right? You have to show people vision. You talk about leader. I'm on here at a leadership podcast. My leadership style is um, helping people see what's possible and then helping them building momentum for them to get on board to get to that destination of what we're trying to achieve, and helping them feel like they have meaning in that and they have participation in that, but seeing what's possible with an organization or a project or a space. That was my strength. I was fortunate to be given some autonomy to go work on that. So I was given opportunities, but then I also created opportunities in areas of the business that allowed that to shine. What is that like in this discussion? That is, we all have to do some things that pay bills, but it's not always clear where your particular strengths are. For example, I thought I was an introvert and I didn't think I was good at this, but then I started to hear gossip that, well, you need somebody to go help you with a presentation. You need somebody to get a client excited about what's possible. Jay, bring Jay, and so once you kind of start hearing that, find a way to weave your strengths into your daily routine, because one, it's great for business, it's great for your clients and partners and customers, but it's
Yeah.
also good for your well-being and your mental health,
Hmm.
and it gives you purpose, and gives you balance. And so
Well,
I,
there's something about waking up every day and feeling like you're good at something that, like, when you live in your strength zone, your life doesn't feel so hard, right? And so there are, as you put, the way you put it, as you said, there's still work that has to pay the bills.
yeah,
And for sure, no matter what. However, if you're gifted with an industry like real estate, where fundamentally the only thing you have to do is go talk to people, and you figure out that you have a skill in anything. And we have examples of this on the team here. We have people that are into, that are deep into whatever their chosen hobbies are, and they lean heavy into their chosen hobby, and then that becomes the intersection of where their business comes from. That makes life so much more fun, so much better when you are existing inside of something that's natural, that you're naturally good at, versus grinding
yeah.
yourself down to a nub trying to just live on the other side of the Venn diagram, which is, oh, this is the work part. So and again, I've witnessed you do this, and I want to sort of wheel back to I want to bring a thread to this conversation, which is,
I gotta add, go for it, go for it.
go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I know our minds are the same.
I want to, I
um,
want to, I want to hear how. So again, we talk about, you bring these creative, unique experiences to your customers. It's different every time. You've got this fine arts degree. You've got this like background in one of the most like, architecturally or construction is like this very sound, predictable business, and then
yeah.
you bring this fine arts experience to it, which is all creative, and somehow
Don't
you marry these two things, and
don't
you.
look at it as linear. Don't look at it as we got to get the business, we got to place all these silos have their place, and then we add some creativity to it superficially to kind of dress it up. I'm going to go back to that fine arts thing because I went through school, I got my degree, I was so focused on work. Right after, so I don't know, next year, I went to trade school. I went and got an electrical license. And it was like, because it allowed us to have another apprentice,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, of course I'll do that. And then the industry in general, construction design, there's a lot of continuous ed. So you get to learn from the product people and you get to learn forever. I'm sure your industry has that too. New regulations, new things come, and you got to hop on board. Um, to the idea of sprinkling the creative in after the fundamentals and have been put together. Don't do that. Lead with creativity. If you look up, I was reading, I forget where I read this, but the most valuable employees right now for corporations and organizations, and yeah, well, I'm not a corporate guy, but it's creativity. It's people who can be engaged because it can apply to so many things. So think about that. I go in there and I go to trade school. Now I have both of those options. Just recently, I went up to Cambridge, Mass for a few days and I trained and I got certified as a Lego serious play instructor. You and I talked about it when I was doing it. We were on the phone when I happened to be up there. And you said, wow, we got to do one of these workshops over in Newington, which I won't go to because I didn't build it. So you can hire a hotel.
It's
But yeah.
it's on your blacklist. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what that is creativity. It's getting people to open up early on. So when you lead with that creativity in those walkthroughs when I was younger, or even now, you're getting your clients or the designer or the architect on the project to be more open, share more open. So the definition of what you might have initially thought you were going there for, hey, we need to renovate a cafe, turns into a larger project or more aspects of it, or it just goes in a different direction. So that creativity can define what the company's going to be. So you
So,
can't look at it as an afterthought. It has to be in line. And to do workshops like Lego Serious Play, it opens people up. It opens up a greater amount of people, and you get a greater variety of perspectives early on. Where I go into conversation, I'm usually one of the guys talking. And it's that 80-20 thing where, you get 20% of the people are talking, 80%, participate. And then you get that, I'm going to say it wrong, like Pavlovian kind of, oh, we got a Monday meeting. We go in, Matt says his things, we
yeah,
move on.
there's passengers.
You guys are great. You layer in music, you layer in the five senses, you make a more memorable, unpredictable experience. You're consistent, you're doing your meetings, you're getting your content, but you're unpredictable. And leading with creativity brings more engagement. It brings more people to participate, and you get a better outcome, and you get
I
a
want
more
to.
productive
Is
meeting.
it possible, Jay, that we could redefine creativity? Because I think
Yeah.
what I think you're saying is maybe curiosity, like that like it's perhaps like because there still has to be a like we can't go into somebody's house as a real estate agent and turn and walk out and be like, well, sounds to me like they need a general contractor, so we'll just do the renovation instead, right? Like there's still an objective. So do you mean more of like being open to where the conversation can go? Is that more of what you're talking about? I'm just really interested
Yeah,
because
being
again, like
vulnerable and open. Yeah,
I,
and don't assume. Let it happen. When you move your hands, you get people constructing together and talking, you're going to get more perspective on the project. You're going to get a broader group of people providing input. And as a leader, don't you want that? Don't you want to hear from everyone so you can make a better decision? And if your client has more options that they hear on the onset, they're going to be more knowledgeable and make a better decision. So it's different industries, obviously it's different, but I think yeah, being open to not looking at them as in sequence.
Mhm.
And
So take us through what that looks like for you. I want to understand this. Like so because I do believe that we could benefit from because this job for us is a lot about just doing the reps. Like fundamentally, no matter what, it's talk to more people, it's deliver the value proposition, it's get people to a point where they say yes, no, or not right now. Like
yeah.
that is the real estate, that is the job, right? That there's a certain amount of people out there that are going to raise their hand and say, I want to buy or sell a house today. And there's a certain amount
Hmm.
of people that are going to hire you or not hire you or not sell their house. And so where would bringing what you're describing to a real estate business, like the way that you do it, the way that I've experienced it, how would you see something like that play out?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I don't know more about like residential real estate. So are you allowed to get in front of the client early on now? How are they engaging with you? How does someone reach out to one of the team members to, I got a property. Hey, I guess I got to move. I got to
I
sell it.
mean, yeah, sometimes it can go both ways. I mean, for the most part, you're either hearing from somebody that has a real estate need or you're finding somebody that has a real estate need.
Because
And
you
so
could do
then
so
there's an
much for me.
opportunity, there's always an opportunity to sit down with them and have a conversation about what it is they're trying to do. And most of what we do is like it is a pretty linear path.
Hmm.
Where you're not really it's like, hey, I need to sell my house or I don't need to sell my house. It's not like I need to sell my house and, bring a lot of complexity to it. So I know that when I sat and you gave us a pitch, it definitely was an impactful experience and it felt custom, but yet you still showed me blueprints, you showed me pricing, like you delivered something. Do you craft your presentations like that every time?
Yeah, they're tailored. Every project is different. There's certainly process. So you go back to that process that helps us get there. And there's different individuals on the team. We're not stamping a plan. We don't have, hey, this worked last time. Let's go do that. Um, I'm gonna. I want to go back to the real, what you guys do for a living. Let me just stay on that. So I just think that going back to adding value, like what differentiates you, what makes it memorable to say, wow, I just really want to stay with this group because I'm sure they can use a number of people and they can work remotely. And maybe it's my mother's house in West Hartford and I live in Nashville and I'm talking to you over the phone. So like I just look at every opportunity as how am I memorable for these people? How am I adding value? And how do I make it so this person just wants to work for me?
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's just service, right? It's kind of like doing what you're supposed to be doing the right way, and being responsive. Um, I guess being accessible is what it is. I don't know your business enough to know how to do it. I imagine it's pretty tough and it's pretty competitive right now. As is this industry. There's a bunch of talented builders and contractors, and they're really great ones out there, you know. So you're not going to win every job, but to your point, you're talking highly of me. I get it. We grew up together, but I didn't get your job, but I have a fan. So I'm still putting that energy into you and I'm still,
For what it's worth, Jason, I didn't get to sell you a house either. Just so everybody knows that Jason bought a house recently and I was not his realtor.
I,
So it's a little, we're just trying to be fair here,
yeah,
right?
this
We
is
can
true.
still be friends.
Yeah.
We
That
can
was
still be
you didn't
friends.
want to get involved with
Yeah,
that
yeah, just saying, right? So here's actually where I want to take this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your leadership journey and
Yeah.
your personal journey because
Yeah.
beyond the fact that you're a highly skilled practitioner, you're very successful in your industry, well known, well regarded and respected. It's never a straight line. And I think that that's like let's talk about the personal journey through this. You're a father, you have a daughter who's what junior at UConn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
junior at UConn,
Yep.
and then
No, sorry, sophomore. Going into her junior year. Yep.
she's yeah going into her junior year, right? And you also have a couple of young kids now too, right? How old are they?
Yeah, I got Alex 12, Lila 13. Lila's going on 40, but it's great. I got a blended family, guys. So I got and it's just awesome. So going through it again, watching the same plays I
Yeah,
watched eight
you
years
said
ago.
that. You said I can't
Yeah.
believe at 52 I'm having I have kids again. Like yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that that's on the personal side,
Yeah.
but you also in addition to being, a highly skilled, professional, you run a foundation and I want to hear about your foundation.
And thank you for all participating this year. It was awesome to see the group of friends at a table. So I'm an officer with FACT, and that stands for Find a Cure Together. We exist as a 501c3 here to be a conduit. We raise money for the V Foundation, so it's really the V Foundation. We give 100% of what we make for the V Foundation, which is Jim Valvano. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. That organization in 1993 was really founded here in Connecticut with ESPN gave Jimmy Valvano money to start that journey. And it's really out of North Carolina now at NC State, which he was the famous coach for. And we felt that even with ESPN here, there wasn't enough going on for that. So 10 years ago, my buddy Bobby D'Angelo, who was a client, now a friend, is put an event on at Trinity. And I said, man, I got to be a part of this. So we just had our 10th year Voices for Victory Gala, um, which raises money and awareness for the V Foundation. And I wear the bracelet every day. And you can't believe how many of these I give away a week because I'll find somebody who's going through something. I take it off. This stupid little rubber bracelet has such a moment and a connection with someone that I hear from after. I'm like, and it says what it says on it, guys, is don't give up, don't ever give up. So yeah, it's incredibly meaningful to me. I actually lost my mom this year to cancer, but I had cancer in 2019 through 2020, and it was obviously it changes your life. I was part of the V before that, but I benefited from the dollars given to cancer research. So it was yeah, it was a powerful. Those years were powerful when I had it, but it was a tough time. It was. I heard Kevin you had on. I don't know when that was that podcast, and he said, I went through separation and COVID. It's tough. Yeah, I was battling cancer through COVID, and I got separated. I got divorced during that, and that was like, boy, a lot to take on. But I was actually very grateful that it was all bundled up at one time. And I'm like, if I get through this, man,
All right,
yeah,
we're gonna
I'm gonna do all right. It was actually on a project at the time doing Laz Parking's headquarters. And I'm Roman Catholic, grew up with like Italian immigrant grandparents, and Laz, they're Jewish, and his dad's a really famous rabbi, just a wonderful guy. And they found out I was sick, and they were just so gracious to me. I said, hey, I gotta stop kind of working on this, and his dad came to me and he said, you know, I'm gonna book for you. We take Prisig, Rabbi, I'll take anything I get. I go, you get me through this. I'm gonna convert. And when I say, Jason, how you feeling? Oh, I still got I'm not there yet, you know. So I'm in remission, but I didn't convert. So but yeah, wonderful family. And that goes to like letting people in, you know, being open to them and connecting with people and just really some wonderful, it was awful low point in my life, right? But also some of the best experiences came from that, from health, from relationships. You know, I came out of that. I found I was gifted Olivia, who we're all close friends with, and you were friends with both of us before that. So I think you're given gifts when you go through something really challenging like that. I wasn't living wrong. But boy, does that make you appreciate kind of what you have. And I make myself available to people who are going through some stuff now. So yeah, we raise dollars for cancer research, and
Jay,
we're
let me redirect you for a minute because it's this is something I know about you, and this is what this group really wants to hear about. You can't even talk about that incredibly challenging part of your life without making it sound like it was not like you are so overwhelmingly full of gratitude and positive energy. And it's something that I think I want to learn more from you about because you basically said, yeah, I got cancer, I got divorced, yeah, things were really tough, but man, I'm so grateful for the life. I mean, there's that is you recognize, of course, like that is not a unique, that is an incredibly unique viewpoint, and that while are when you are confronting challenges like that in life, right, you're really given no choice other than to just look up and say, I got to keep moving. But where does that
you
come
got to
from?
keep moving. Yeah.
Because that's not you were given a season in life where everything was harder than it was for everyone around you, and you were given every reason to become a victim, and you didn't. I want to know how you confronted those challenges every day to be in
Um,
the place that you're at today and talk about it as if it was just a blip on the radar, like a bad hangover. You're like, yeah, rough time. But anyway, like
yeah, I've
what?
had worse hangovers, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it was bad. It was bad. It was scary and bad. Um, at the time, Michael Lombardi in my business, he was a client at UConn. He was with Gilbane Construction at the time, and his son had nearly my exact cancer. And I was so worried about his son because I think I was 45 at the time when I got cancer. I was like, man, I can't believe this is happening. Um, I had kids, you know, like I had Bella, and I was like, oh man, I gotta be around for Bella. And so you have drive, you have purpose, you have people counting on you. I was worried about his kid who was 19 at the time, just went into UConn, strapping football player kid. I remember thinking, I have drive. I have to get through this. And so I think if like I was thinking about people around me. I was worried about my mom having to watch me go through that. So I tried to be strong. I as much as I say connect with people and teams and collaborate, I was still a pretty self-performing individual in my life at that time. And it was like, I got it, I'll take care of it. And it forced me to let people help, which
Mm.
was like, which I still do. Actually, I'm asked for help all the time. My
Well,
buddy, you know,
just say that part again, because I think most of the
yeah,
people on this call need to hear it.
let people, what something that came out of that was asking and letting people help, reaching out, and it's okay. And I think people want to. So even if you're not ready to do that, it makes people feel good. Giving makes people feel good. And I had to open up. And if you think about that, I don't like being woe is me, but that was I couldn't have people around me to help me heal because it was COVID. to this day, I don't really have an immune system. I am the guy that goes out, I'm hugging, and I'm a hugger. I hug and kissing people, and it's I never, my white cells never recovered really, so I can get sick pretty easily, but I couldn't have people around. And I can remember one moment, we want to get touchy, is like my father, Kim A, Brian, Spiro, they all came over to build me a recovery room in my house, first floor. And man, I can see them in that room right now because I had to stay disconnected and I had to do that. My parents really couldn't be there for COVID to come and watch me. I was getting treatments and kind of doing that on my own. And they bought me one of the beds that moves. Kim A set me up with some TVs, and they put me in the room in the back of my house so the back window could open. I got a fire pit area out there, and they would go out there and talk so I could hear them. So yeah, pretty special.
Hmm.
So I let people help during that time, and I still do. They say now, hey, look, I think you're in remission. Stop asking for help. But it's but yeah,
Just like an Italian Roman
yeah,
Catholic. All right,
yeah,
enough. You're fine. Let's
yeah.
go. Right. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
But Jay,
Yeah,
it's not it's above average. It's an above average response to an incredibly challenging time because again, you also were going through a divorce at the same
yeah,
time. Like there was this like season, and some of us know what it feels like to be in a rough season.
yeah,
And there's this weird sort of experience for some where it feels like, okay, that's it. It's over. I'm done.
yeah, yeah.
And
That
somehow you tapped into that ability to continue to drive. And I think that is the truest form of a human experience.
mm,
And then come out the other side and just take on life at full force like you have. It's incredibly admirable. So
no.
talk to us about like what your process of gratitude looks like. How do you visit this idea of just being grateful to be alive, being grateful to have the job you have, the opportunities you've been presented. I know you guys just got a property you're doing a ton of work on. Like there's a lot to look forward to. How do you plug into that every day?
That's it. I mean, what shapes me, I like people, energy, creativity, work ethic. I love seeing what other people have going on. I love learning and hearing about it. I am curious. I like connecting with people and seeing what they're doing. What got me through that, yeah, that was tough. That was devastating. To that, I made really poor choices, all loaded up with chemo financially. So I was in the worst health, financial, emotional, mental state. And you got to make a decision like, I got a lot. I still have a lot going on for me, and I'll rebuild. And you kind of got to, I don't want to say reinvent myself. I've been fortunate. I've been in the same industry forever. I've changed and evolved what we do and what my role is in there. But um, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about a lot of things, and I want to do them. And there's still things I want to do now that, we all don't get as much time as we need each day. So that's where kind of blending those experiences you talked about earlier. Sometimes I meld personal life and work life together. I think people like that and let them know it's okay. I think of when you share these stories like this, you find out, I'm sure there's a bunch of people in here probably going through something, or a family member is going through something right now, and like, hey, I think you guys share contact information. Put my number out there. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to go have a coffee with you. It doesn't always say, well, how's a commercial contractor? Is that really a smart network? Trust me. Just like, yeah, connect and go meet people, because you just don't know. But I've had events where I did this thing called Old Saybrook Scenic Cycle. And I brought engineers and architects and people. I said, can I bring my wife? Of course. We're going to go for a bike ride in Old Saybrook. We're going to wrap up at my father's house and do a cookout. And those kind of things are, you make some real relationships with those, and you hear personal stuff versus the work stuff that you get at the, Chamber of Commerce. So yeah, I got through it. I was still looking forward to things that you want to do before you get sick.
Hmm.
And you just want to, I'm still excited about things to come. Um, I think put something on the calendar new each year. Put a few things. Resolution guy. I'm not a real resolution guy, but put some things down and say they could be goals of work, but they could be, hey, we got to do this. Olivia and I always talked about doing like Airbnbs. It does a lot of good. It can make some money. It gives us something to collaborate on. It gives her a platform for design because that's what she does, and it lets her kind of showcase her stuff there. So yeah, we kind of check that off the list. And what else are we looking to do? And I think just stay active, and it gives a rich life. Did I tell the story about Antoinetta already? One
No.
of my customers. Antoinetta one time said, I just want to tell you, you have a rich life. And she has a heavy, heavy accent. I said, well, what do you mean by that? She says, you've done a good job of kind of creating an enjoyable, inclusive life where you're melding your personal life and sharing your information. We feel very connected with you, and I appreciate that. And I didn't realize I was doing it. That was years ago. And I said, wow, Antonetta, thank you so much for like telling me that. And she goes, we all want to get there. I said, well, you can, you can. I know we're paying the bills, but get those elements of what you're really good at or what you enjoy and make sure you find a way to share them at the workplace or bring them into your daily life because otherwise you get a little off balance.
Mhm.
I don't know why I got sick. I was a pretty healthy guy, take care of myself, and I think it was a little bit of stress, guys. I think like years and years of having a maybe a difficult relationship and loading yourself on too much. So you need these outlets to share and talk. What you do on this is wonderful, and this is only one day a week I'm getting a glimpse at with you guys, but making yourself available to others and talking with others, I think it's important for mental health, and that's it's
It's
critical.
crucial. It's
Yeah,
crucial, especially when you're in a job where you wake up unemployed every day, which is the reality of the real
you
estate
guys
industry.
do.
We are professional interviewers because as of tomorrow, I have no job. Whatever job I got yesterday will be over in 90 days, guaranteed. And so I'm going to have no job 90 days from now. And so you become a professional job seeker.
Yeah,
And that can be stressful, especially when you have brutal winters and the
yeah,
market contracts and there's lots of competition and all of those things will lead you to be you're predisposed to a negative mindset, right?
yeah.
Because there's always a challenge. So there's another thing I want to talk to you about that I think is also really unique and interesting. That's probably something you don't give yourself enough credit for because again, we hardly ever know what our gifts are until somebody shares it with us. You are Connecticut born,
Yeah, love it.
Connecticut raised, UConn grad, and I
Yeah,
don't think I've ever met a bigger fan of the state of Connecticut. Again,
I'll take it. I will take
I
that.
100% want to give you a mountain of credit because there's never a day I don't talk to you where you don't talk about some awesome little town or some awesome little spot or some cool thing to do. Like, what reminded me of that was your cycle on the shore, whatever that, I mean, that was definitely a fine arts degree alliteration. Whatever, a
It's tough to
cycle,
say.
something old, say, whatever you came up with there. But there's something I think is awesome about that. I have so much respect because Connecticut's the state that's easy to, again, once again, this positive, it's easy to hate on Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like, Connecticut's always the butt of every New England joke, right? The drive-through state, like you're just driving from New
Oh,
York through New York. Connecticut is a great place to hate on. And for the better part of, well, this is something that we share because for the better part of like 15 years, we were in an economic slump. Our market recovery was terrible. I mean, there was a lot. There was, taxes are too high. Everyone's leaving.
yeah.
Nobody loves it here, right? But I never heard a bad word about the state from you. Nothing.
No, you
You're a
won't. I mean, I made my living. It's one. I mean, how many of you are from Connecticut? Or you any transplants?
vast majority
I
here.
can't see
Yeah,
everybody, but it's yeah. I mean, be an ambassador. If you want to know, like one of my I didn't even realize it. I'm an ambassador for the state. I
100%.
get people enthusiastic. I actually get a lot of companies considering to relocate here. We've found a way to inject ourselves into those tours when they're looking at buildings, and we can kind of travel with them and take a little tour. And really, yeah, your building's one thing, but let's go show you what's around here.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go show you the state and get you guys engaged with what's happening here. And that's the case for any age. I know there was a whole time period where young talent was graduating these colleges and they're heading out of here. But no, there's a great quality of life. I get to see a lot of those nooks and crannies because we're building in every single area. We do work, by the way, guys, all in New England, New York, Georgia. And but man, Connecticut is special. It's a wonderful place to raise a family, to grow up, to have some fun. But you got to get out. You got to do things different. It's like what we've been talking about. And I think if you're an ambassador for this area, it helps sells houses. If
Yeah.
you People know when it's authentic, or if you're just regurgitating something you read. But if you're really, hey, meet me. I don't know if you can connect with these people, but hey, I'd love to connect with you. Meet me down here at this coffee shop in the
I think
center or somewhere.
the key
So
element that you just nailed
yeah.
though, you started it off by saying you're an ambassador. I had this such a similar experience, and it was probably 2014 or 2015, and many of the people on the team have heard this story where I was so frustrated with the state of the market, with how
Yeah.
hard it was to build a business here, with the fact that we weren't getting the same appreciation, with our average price point was 200,000. I mean, there were just so many
Mm,
things that felt hard about what I was doing, and I'd get in these, mastermind groups around the country of people that were, building big businesses in Boston or outside of Austin, Texas, and they were just crushing. And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, we don't have any of the same problems. Like
Now you're
they were
leading
saying
it,
they
right?
had new construction. They were just crushing. And we were like, we have none of that. We have a whole different set of problems. And the reason I brought it up is because again, I think your superpower is how you see the world. Because what I experienced at that time was an infection. I got that mental disease of starting to
Mm,
feel negative because I was
yeah.
surrounded by it and people around me were complaining and saying Connecticut sucks and it's no, and so I started to get infected by that. And that infection started to bleed into my business and my capacity to be an ambassador. And one day, out like by some miraculous stroke of luck, and maybe this was 24. I don't remember exactly when, but that other voice in your head? You know how we all have like two, and sometimes you can argue with yourself. What the fuck is that? First of all,
Yeah.
let's just talk about that. How many
Yeah.
people are living in there?
Rocky. I hear Rocky a
But
lot. Do you
oh,
guys
you
get
do? Yeah,
that?
that makes sense. So this other voice showed up and said, shut up and do something about it.
Get up, Mick.
And I was like, it was funny because I was in this like cycle of
Yeah.
negativity around like where I lived and trying to do what I was trying to do and how come it wasn't easier. And it was shut up and do something about it. And it was
Yeah.
from that moment that I made a decision that the outcome for me would be, and I used that exact language. I wrote it down, be an ambassador for the place you live.
Yes.
Like wake up every day
You
enthusiastic and excited
That's powerful.
about it.
What
And
you can make everyone on the call can start to create momentum and can turn. It's like I think of it like a whirlpool. And you can make a difference and it's contagious. Negativity is a cancer. Get
100%.
that in an organization, it will grow. And you find yourself at certain points like being a woe is me. No, if you've got to check it at the door, you got to be consistent. You got to show up. You got to be consistent. And people start to feel that. And if you realize it or not, they look forward to connecting with you on that. And that might be the reason they're doing business with you, just to feel that little moment every day, because they can call a multitude of people. So you can make a difference and change a whole culture and why we're looked at a little differently. Think of Anthony. He was our marketing director for the state for a short while. He's in the area still consulting. He's the guy that put up a billboard. And you know what? They brought him in. He cost a few bucks, and he put up billboards. What an inexpensive way to create some buzz and make people realize, wow, we live in the pizza capital of the world,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and
Yeah.
and think
And
about how
nobody doesn't
that
like pizza, so we may as well hang our hat there, right?
I know I'm probably over time. I look at, but I went
Oh,
to an
you're good. You're
event in
good.
New Haven, commercial real estate event, and Avella was there. Am I saying that right? The airline out of New
Yeah.
Haven. And
Yeah.
the CEO or guy came into town to talk about, he said, I come here and everybody says, why are you here? What cities are we going to go to? He goes, you guys are so down on yourselves in Connecticut. We're here in New Haven because people want to come here. He
Yeah.
goes, and you guys don't even recognize that. He goes, people are coming to see areas around here. It's a great hub to go see Newport, go see New York, go see Connecticut, and everything that goes along in there. So yeah, I think feel pride, make it authentic, and people will feel that, and they'll start to gravitate towards you. And hopefully it helps business and
I'm
everything.
gonna wrap us up by just
Yeah,
simply again pointing out that the beautiful thing which you live, you lived it through your own challenges, through your career, and in your decision that to be an ambassador is that everything is ultimately just a decision. So if you wake up and you're in the negative headspace, you can actually just change it, and you can remember that you're not fighting cancer, or you're not getting a divorce, or you're not, and that there is always, no, even when you're in a state that everybody loves to hate on,
Yeah.
amazing, beautiful things to be grateful for, no matter what. I think that's something that everybody needs to hear, that message every day, that you are only ever a decision away from changing how your entire worldview looks. So,
I like that.
Jason, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us for an hour. Guys, any comments, questions? Throw your hands up. Let's give Jason a big thank you. Jay, how can we help you? Where can we show up and
Oh,
support you? Let us know what can we do to help you? Where's there a social media presence that we can follow? I mean, we didn't even get to talk about your ADU projects. We didn't even get to
yeah,
talk about
that's,
some of the stuff that you could actually sell
yeah,
to customers here, because I know you've got like built to suit ADUs. So
yeah.
how do we keep in touch with you? What's
Please, I will say this. First of all, you already helped me out. You gave me, I got to meet a bunch of people, but please do me a favor and follow up with me, because you guys, this is great to be connected with this many people. I appreciate it. Starting my Friday and my weekend off right. And I love that. Love what you guys are doing. I love how you're engaging with one another, and that's important. So thanks for bringing me into the mix. So it's great to meet you. Stay in touch with
okay?
me.
Okay,
Please
for me to
do.
put your cell phone
All of it. Yeah.
in
Put
the
my
chat?
cell phone, social media. I'm a Leo, July 26th,
Oh, there you
70
go.
something.
Okay, here we go. Now he's
Um,
all right. Perfect.
but yeah,
Uh,
and we'll
Aaron
find a way. We'll find a way to work. We'll find something to connect. And if I can help, I don't know if I can or not, but please reach out to me.
and Aaron, I saw your hand up.
Well, I know we're going to go over, but I almost feel like I'm being punked with the similarities in this man's life and mine. I don't know whose guest this was, but you all are, it's a conspiracy. From the COVID divorce to the
Oh,
cancer to
yeah.
everything. Like, I'm just like, is someone really like, did you just find the male version of Aaron Burnap? But anyways, look at that. I even just called myself Aaron Burnap, and my name is not Burnap
You
anymore.
did. You did.
But anyways, I just want to thank you for your candor and your inspiration, because
Oh,
I've got a lot going on myself right now, and there's so many parallels as to what you've struggled with, and just seeing someone on the other side is
yeah.
very encouraging. So thank you for your candor and your willingness to share the struggles as well as the successes.
I'm sending you good vibes as well, and realize you could be more and better and stronger after all this. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Good stuff. Silver lining. So a friend of Matt and I said, Jay, I think you hit lightning in a bottle.
Hmm.
So, like, did I say that right? I think I said that right. Lightning in a bottle. Is that the phrase? So
Sure.
yeah. So, you
Lightning
got
in a
good stuff
cocaine.
coming your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I see it as an opportunity, not as a bad thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bennett, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Jason. And if you're not connected already on Facebook, there's a really good networking group called Dads in Business. And the only requirement is that you're a dad and that you're in business. And it's a really good group of people that, Matt and I network with dozens of people from that group. So if you're looking for, people that are really interested in growth, building their business, scaling, or just,
Yeah.
some of them, a lot of us are just hustlers, just trying to, get through life with our families, but other people are really big in, building big businesses. So
Yeah.
whatever level you want to engage at, I
I
encourage you to do that.
I
And
would appreciate that. I don't even know if I heard about. I heard about one of them on your podcast. I don't know if there's a gentleman who was heavily involved with that on
Yeah.
this show.
Yeah.
the guy that runs that, yeah,
Okay,
Ryan
so that is the
Waddell.
one. I will take a look at that. Please email me, and maybe we can stay in touch, and you could be my host when I show up to one of the events there. It's yeah, I think I will check that out. That's great.
Thanks, Jay. Jeremy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just love the positive attitude no matter what you're facing, whatever adversity you're facing, show up. Just
Show up.
show up. And that's such a great message for everybody, because there are many days where you don't want to get out of bed, right?
Mhm.
But you got to
You
show up
you got to
because
get
someone's
up.
counting on you.
You gotta
And you're
you
counting
gotta
on you.
be active. Just get up and start moving, and stuff's gonna fall into place. Don't think about it. Don't sit there too long and mull over what you have going on. Get up and start moving. That's the idea of actually like that Lego series play too, Matt.
Yeah.
Like move and watch what comes out of that. Good things come out.
Yeah,
When
so
you're
cool,
going
man.
through
Thank you.
that stuff, remember you've got people watching you, and it's not suppress it, which is like the old Italian way. Just suppress it, push the depression down a little bit. But it's if you get up and being consistent. That's I think like if there's something I'm proud about, I was consistent. People, I never think like that, but show up. Everyone is carrying something, but I want to make sure I'm giving my best to people around me in the company or family. So yeah, it drives you, keeps you going.
Love it. Thank you.
Jason, thank you so much. You gave us an hour of your time. You should feel incredibly fulfilled by giving as much as you did this morning. You made a difference, my man, with a lot of people. You made an impact, and there's nothing better, right? So you definitely could go into the weekend feeling like you checked that box. So
I'm
thank you so
ready.
much, my friend. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Guys, it's Friday. You know what that means. Get your work boots on, get ready because you got open houses, you got stuff to do. You got people ready to buy houses this weekend. They will buy houses this weekend. The only question is whether or not they're going to buy it with you. People will make a decision this weekend about whether they're going to buy a house that's on the market, list their home, or hire an agent because they just decided today that maybe an open house might be a good plan for this year. Maybe they can sneak a sale in before the kids go back to school. Those decisions are happening right now, and they're happening in your backyard, in your neighborhood, with your friends. So you know the drill. You got to get out there and do the thing. Sign, sell, set. It's the only thing. It's the simplest thing. Keep yourself focused. Don't forget.
Yes.
Go do the job. See you later, everybody. Appreciate y'all.